Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight, I'm taking a look at the Bandai S.H. Figuarts Captain America Civil War Captain America. Now, I love Captain America Civil War. Everything about the movie, it just got me excited. But when Bandai announced this figure, I didn't jump on it. I wasn't on the bandwagon. Now, I love the Star Wars Figuarts, but mostly because they fit into the scale of the Star Wars Black Series. I can mix and match. It's all good there. Marvel Legends, yes, we have this Captain America. I thought I'm good with that. Marvel Legends are in a slightly larger scale, so I thought with Figuarts being the way they are, this wouldn't fit in. I wouldn't be able to mix and match with it. I passed. I didn't pre-order it. Same thing happened when Iron Man was announced. Marvel Legends one, pretty good. I'm good with that on the shelf. And then we came to Ant-Man. Ant-Man was the one that broke the camel's back here. Yes, we have a Marvel Legends movie Ant-Man, and it's okay, but it's not accurate. So the Figuarts Ant-Man, they showed that. I had to pre-order it. And then I started thinking, this is a smaller scale. I better go back and get Captain America to go with him. And then my brain, again, went, there's nobody for them to fight. So I got the Iron Man. Then Black Panther came along. I had to grab him. And the Black Widow, even though she is Age of Ultron, I'll probably use that on the same shelf. Thank you, Scott, for this avalanche of pre-orders and money falling out of my wallet at a distressing rate, really. But get to this. It's Captain America, pretty standard S.H. Figuarts box. There's a window on the front. Some of the accessories are kind of hidden back behind the graphic here. Back of the box, movable, molding, digital print option parts. It's kind of odd seeing the pictures labeled like that, but what do I care? It's on the box. Then some stuff down here I can't read. Probably says something like, this figure kicks ass, open as soon as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this open and see what my first Marvel Figuarts experience is like. Now, out of the package, I've just kind of dumped it all out. But the figure comes with some protective plastic. There was a bigger piece up around the arms and the back. And then there's this piece, which is kind of circling the waist peg. You can just tear this out, but if you want to, this just pops apart easy enough, just like most of the Figuarts we've seen before. And then this just pops right back together. And there you go, out of the package. And you know what? I kind of love this figure. Yes, it is a little bit fiddly, which we'll get to in a minute, but overall, I feel like this is, like I say about a bunch of the Figuarts, a shrunk down version of the character. The costume's kind of smooth in the blue parts. I thought there would be kind of a texture, but that's going by my own perception. I didn't look at steels. I didn't go back and make sure there was texture on the costume, but it just feels smooth. I'm used to, I guess, extra little details. Get to the leather parts though, there is a texture. It makes it look leathery. The gloves have little details on them. The straps has that leather texture to it. The boots have the straps. There is detail all over the figure, and that kind of offsets the smoothness to me. Now, the figure does measure 6 3/16 inches, which is about right. I just looked up Chris Evans, and he's about 6 foot tall. This is a little bit taller, but you got to go by how Captain America is portrayed in the movie. Now, looking at the figure itself, because of how the articulation is set up in the shoulders, whenever you get them into the neutral position and close the gap, which you can open it up, when you close the gap, the arms don't sit down at the sides, but I feel like this is accurate, you know? Chris Evans is so buffed up that I feel like his arms don't go down like that. It's just how his body works. I wouldn't know. I'm a scrawny ass. Now, I'm going to go over the articulation first, get that out of the way, and then we'll get into all the accessories. The neck is on a ball joint up under the head, so you get some side to side, you get some up, you get some down, and that's further augmented by a ball joint down at the bottom of the neck too. So you get side to side in the neck, you get down, you get up, and that moves all around. The shoulders are in a ball joint inside of a cup, kind of a butterfly joint. It shifts forward, it shifts back. You can pull out to get more range of movement. It goes around. The shoulder pad here is on a hinge. There's also a swivel at the top of the bicep, so you can get that to turn. Now, the shoulder pad doesn't really want to lay down right if you've got it in an odd position. It kind of comes down and shifts over the forearm, but it does do a good job of hiding that. Got double elbows. The top joint is a little bit hard to get maneuvered around, but he gets up to about right there. Not shabby at all. The wrists are the usual Figuarts. It's got a ball joint, swivel top and bottom. So you can get the hand to hinge in any direction possible. I've got this up and down right now, but if you take it, rotate it here, shift it up, you've got a side-to-side joint. And then, of course, that swivels. You've got a ball joint under the rib cage and at the waist, so it gives it a lot of range of movement here. It does get stuck right there if you go back too far, but forward, then you shift back and back, side. Now if you go too far, you do open up the gap right there, which is kind of scary. It kind of gets stuck there. You have Figuarts hips here. You get forward, you get back, you get out. There's a swivel there, and there is a shift down, so to give you even more range of movement there. And that's where the fiddly comes in. When you're posing this, it wants to kind of shift on you all around. I don't know if loose is the right term for it. It's so smooth that it just falls anywhere you want to put it. It's a little bit difficult to get him into, you know, dynamic poses and get him to stay there without something else shifting. He's got double knees, comes back to about right there. You have a swivel that is very, very tight. It almost feels like you're ripping the foot off. And you have a hinge back and a hinge forward, and then a forward-facing peg for some rocker ankle. It's also tight, so it feels like it snaps into place. And then the toe joint right there. Now the ankles are another point that are kind of loose. I was trying to pose him into a kicking pose or a running pose, and this joint right here is just too loose. He stands fine. I've got him into semi-action poses, but trying one foot, it's just too loose. It doesn't want to stay in position. Now for accessories, he does come with the Steve Rogers head. I like it. It's a nice sculpt. It doesn't really look like Chris Evans from most angles. Every now and then I'll take a picture or have it turned just right and it will look like him. But for the most part, while it's cool, it's not quite right. But better than anything we've gotten before. And of course, as always, with the face printing technology that Bandai's been using, it does look a little rough in these close-up pictures, but in person, it looks fantastic. I can't tell you. It just looks great. The Steve head does have that gold color that we've been seeing on blonde hair from Bandai, but it's not as apparent here. There's a wash of a darker, and it's not as shiny as what we saw with, say, Jedi Luke. But you take this, you pull on the Captain America head, and it comes apart at the bottom of the neck. Now, I'm not quite sure why that does that, because it's the same piece. It has skin tone at the top of the head on both pieces. They look exactly the same, so I'm not quite sure if it was easier to do it this way or what goes on there, but it pops on and off pretty easy. I like the Steve Rogers head a little bit better on the figure itself because it almost seems like it sits higher up. When you put the Captain America head on, it almost looks too short, like the body's eating his neck. But I don't know if that's a trick of the eye or what's going on there. And then he comes with all these hands. First, he comes with fists in the package, just your standard fists. Looks good. I like my Captain America with fists. He's a fighting man. He comes with a pair of open hands, at ease maybe. They're nicely sculpted. Then he comes with a pair of shield holding hands, but these also work for salute hands, karate chop hands. And then finally, he comes with a pair of hands that have the shield strap in them, so he can hold the shield. And then for the shield itself, I've heard that people have problems with the paint being off and all, but mine, it's nicely painted. The blue could come to the line a little bit more, but other than that, it's nice and metallic. I like the shape. I like the size. This completely works for me. And then accessories for the shield itself, it has a couple of pieces that peg in that makes it look like the shield isn't being used at all, that it's just sitting somewhere or it's on his back or what have you. But the straps in a folded position. Now those plug in, they stay in there. I like that, but I don't see a lot of use for that. I'm not going to be displaying the shield with its back facing out, sitting down somewhere. Now when you start pegging pieces in, you will notice that the holes are a different distance from each other for each set. So these are further apart, these are closer together. So you have to watch which side that you peg certain pieces in. Of course, the first time I tried it, I tried plugging into the wrong side, trying to squeeze the thing together to get it in there. I'm kind of a moron. And that was even after looking at the instructions that is included with the figure. Now the instructions are very detailed. It shows you where to plug things in, how to apply them. Now one of the other parts that comes with it is this piece right here. It plugs into the shield, and then this pin pegs into his back. It pegs in right here. Now there is a cap for the hole that is tiny. I mean, so small. I've accidentally knocked this out a couple times. I actually lost it once. I surprisingly found it and then put it back in, and I haven't removed it since. Him holding it in his palm, it's a tiny piece. If you've got big man hands, it's kind of hard to get back into the hole. The easiest way I've found to do it is to remove this piece. It's got a small little ledge on it that you can kind of pry off and remove. I'm going to lay that right there, and hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. Have this piece separate first, because it's, for some reason, it's kind of hard to get in the hole. And then take this, which it goes in the more narrow holes, and peg that onto there. And that works. It's not quite magnetic, which would have been kind of nifty now that I think about it. But it does stay on his back. It's in a good position. Now, like I said, with that little edge right there, if you are moving him around trying to pose him and you swipe across there, it will pop that piece out. I wouldn't be heartbroken if it did disappear forever. I'd be bummed, but it's such a small little space that it doesn't really stick out if that piece isn't in there. And also included is this clear little piece. It has a shield strap on the end and then a wrist clip right here, and also a peg hole that's kind of in an L shape that fits onto the salute hand. Now, you can see it right there. It just kind of slips over and then pegs on. The best way I found for this is to remove the hand first, put the appropriate one on. Go ahead and clip the clear piece onto the shield and then just kind of maneuver it on there. And this works pretty good. It looks like he's holding his shield without the straps. You can have it in a throwing position in front of him. That works really well. And the clear piece isn't really apparent. You can't really see it unless you're actually just looking for it. And then finally, there is the hands with the straps molded to them, and this bigger piece that goes around the forearm. It's easier to put these other pieces on first. Strap both of those on, and then again, here's your further away pegs, here's your closer pegs. Those peg in. Then this piece pegs in here. And once you get it all pegged in, it's not the most secure, but again, it looks damn fine. If you want to go moving the arm around, you got to kind of hold it by those straps so they won't pop out. Most of the holding is done with this hand. This other strap is loose around the forearm, but it looks good. Now here he is with the Marvel Legends Civil War Captain America, and you know what? The sizes aren't as crazy different as I thought they would be, at least body-wise. The bodies seem to almost match up. It's when you get to the neck and the head. And the head, to me, is the biggest defining factor when it comes to scale. To me, these aren't in scale with each other, even though they're almost the same size-wise, only because of the head. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with this purchase. I like the figure. I love the paints on it. You see the little Avenger symbol up on the shoulder pads. The red is all clean. The different colors are all inside the lines. Couldn't ask for more paint-wise. And then the face printing technology, that always looks great on the faces. Yes, it's expensive. It's an import, more than twice the price of a Marvel Legends, but you know what? You pay for quality. And now I'm really looking forward to the Iron Man. I have a few other Iron Mans, but I'm thinking the Figuarts, especially when paired with this Captain America, is going to blow my shelf away. I'm going to have a whole other display place now for my Marvel Figuarts. Away from my Marvel Legends, and then away from my Star Wars, and then my He-Man. I need a bigger house, which I would probably have if I quit buying so many action figures. But then again, I wouldn't have the toys and I wouldn't need the space. So it's a paradox, my friends. It's either have cool toys or an adequate living space. I'd rather have cool toys. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. That's enough about packaging. I'm going to get this guy out and see if he's actually a bad mother. And there you go, out of the package. And you know what? This thing is pure hand candy. I love the sculpt on this. I love the colors. I love the paint. I love how the face came out.